Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's edition of Real Talk. Today is March 28th, 2017, and just want to get into some conversation about relationships today. An interesting comment came across my phone today, and my response, I was actually surprised with my response at actually how profound it was. But what I said was, oftentimes we go into relationships with expectations, needs, wants, desires, and oftentimes those needs, wants, desires, and expectations are pretty selfish. And that's okay. Don't get me wrong. To have those things and be a little bit selfish about what it is that you expect from a partner, there's nothing wrong with that. However, if that is the driving force in why you're pursuing a relationship, then perhaps you need to check yourself. As far as I can remember, even as a young person in the traditional Christian church, what I always heard, or what was always said by the elders, or the wise people in the church, was that it was all about giving and not necessarily receiving. It's about giving and not receiving. And in many ways, I agree with that. I think that concept can be applied in a relationship. Now, I am twice divorced, and I've had many relationships since my second divorce. However, I'm not making excuses or anything like that, because I didn't know then what I know now about pursuing a relationship. But one of the things that I have learned, and I used to, on my Facebook page, I used to do these little quotes, what I have learned or what I've learned. And what I've learned as a result of being in numerous relationships is that I didn't even know who I was, let alone had the nerve to expect someone else to give me what I expected, desired, wanted, and or needed, when I really didn't even know that for myself. I didn't even know what I required of myself, what my expectations of myself were. So how dare I impose that onto someone else? And, we've heard things about, having a mate that completes you, or you're 50 and they're 50, and so together you're 100%. And the reality is that we've come to learn that it's actually, you need to be 100% of who you are when you go into the relationship, and hopefully with someone else who is 100% of who they are. And I say that in terms of knowing exactly who they are, and have reasonable, realistic, logical, fair, indiscriminatory expectations of another person. I hope I'm using the correct words to try to verbalize what I'm thinking. So a lot of times my thoughts go faster than I can actually formulate the words to express what I'm thinking. But from my own personal experience, what I know today is far greater than what I knew in past relationships, as far as who I am and what I'm willing to give in a relationship. And I've always made comments about I have so much love to give, and that is true. I have a lot of love to give, and I want to give that in a way that is natural and easy for me. I want to be able to easily express my love for someone based on who I know that I am. And so the perfect mate for me would have to be that individual who is actually seeking to attract that which I'm willing to give. And the hope is that just as I can say that I know who I am and I know what I'm willing to give, I would like to meet that person who also knows who they are and knows what they're willing to give. And so what you're looking for in a relationship as far as reciprocity is that which you are willing to give is attractive to someone else who is also desirous of those things that you're willing to give, and also willing to give the things that you yourself also desire. How do you discover what those things are if you've never met the person? It's called developing a friendship. It's called developing a friendship. It's called getting to know a person. It's called spending time with that person intellectually, discovering what it is that moves them, what triggers them, what makes them who they are. It's called spending time with that individual and being your authentic self when you're spending time with that individual, so that they too can be their authentic self, so that you know exactly who it is that you're dealing with. Oftentimes we come into a new relationship, we put our best foot forward. You know, girls, we want to look our best. Our hair is laid, nails are done, best outfit. You know, same thing with the guys. They want to make sure, you know, that they're groomed, well groomed and dressed to the nine and driving the nicest car and got it washed and everything. And, you know, they're looking good and smelling good and everybody's looking good. And that's the representative. That's your putting your best foot forward, like you're going out on an interview. And that's all well and good. But if that is not how you are on a regular basis, then I would say maybe not go to the extreme of acting like you're going on an interview. Excuse me. But be more of who you are. Be more of, or show more, demonstrate more of who you are on a relaxed day. So maybe not go to some formal place for your first date. Maybe go to the park, or meet up at Starbucks for some coffee or something, or have lunch out on the canal or something like that. But something very, very informal that is as close to who you really are on a regular basis, when all the masks are pulled off, when all the roles are stripped away, when your guards are down. Go on the date with yourself. Take yourself on the date, your true self on the date. And then have an expectation that the person you go on the date with is bringing their authentic and true self. And of course, again, the only way that you're going to know that is by spending time with them, having conversation with them, asking questions. We do that on an interview. So when you're getting to know someone, or you met someone, ask questions straight up. I mean, don't, for lack of a better word, don't pussyfoot around the questions. Be straight up. And you can do that if you're that way with yourself. And if you're that way with yourself, you will be able to easily discern whether or not that person you met or are interested in getting to know is that way with themselves. And then the two of you together can have a very authentic conversation. And guess what? So what if you find out what you're willing to give doesn't match what it is that they desire, or what they're willing to give doesn't match what it is that you desire? At the very least, maybe you've just gained a new friend. Someone that you can talk to, and someone that you can continue to be your authentic self, and they can help you to discover the person who may be your match, who's attracted to that which you're willing to give. Oftentimes we pretend like, you know, we want to love a person in a certain way, and because that's what you think is going to impress them, and only to discover that once you get comfortable and start being exactly who you are at your core, you're not really willing to give those things. And that's unfair to the other individual. So what am I saying in this almost 10-minute Real Talk broadcast? I'm saying that no matter what, get to know who you are. Get to know who you are. Be comfortable with who you are. And be willing to walk out into the world completely naked, completely honest, and completely authentic about who you are, so that you can attract that person who is open and receptive to what you have to give, and what they're willing to give matches what you desire. I could say a whole lot more on that, but I don't want to bore you to tears. But go forth and be authentic. Meet your authentic mate. Have a wonderful day. I'll see you next week. Real talk, signing out.